Welcome back, travelers, and today we're going to be talking about the blue-white color combination of the Azorius, known as the Lawman and the Bureaucrat. Special thanks to Rondome18 for requesting this particular video first. He did also request, they requested the Gruel color combination as well, which will be coming out in not next month, the month afterwards. But right now we're talking about blue-white. So by this point, if you've been watching the other videos, you know how this kind of works out. I talk about first what the common enemy of the two colors is. Fortunately, white-blue is an allied color combination, so their common enemy is red. Now, me, I am a relatively red individual. I feel that. But with white-blue, I, as a result, have some animosity there. And as a result, I'm going to try and be as subjective as possible with this particular video. So we'll see how that goes. You guys can tell me in the comments if you feel like I was too easy on white blue, or if I painted them as a terrible, just color. We'll see, I guess, right? Like I said, red is the enemy of white blue. And when white blue looks at red, it sees an accident waiting to happen. It looks at it and it goes, "That's really dangerous. Why are you juggling knives? I mean, if I take out this rule book, we shouldn't even have knives in this area. So, and right here it says you shouldn't be juggling. So, I mean, you're breaking two rules right now. Actually, you shouldn't even be here. This is a restricted area. You're breaking 3 rules. Get out before you drop a knife on somebody that's supposed to be here." So, if white-blue could have the exact opposite, basically, of an accident waiting to happen, the white-blue combination is just so very, I want to say, far-reaching. It looks super far into the future, further than any combination other than, actually, that's the furthest looking color combination. It sees things and it says, okay, I want things to be this way. I have a vision. And so that vision for the white-blue is a utopia. Now, obviously, not every character, that every person that is this color combination is going to be focused specifically on learning or on legislation, but as a result, overall, the white-blue color combination is going towards that sense of perfection, but more so, everyone is perfect. Mono blue wants perfection in general, and if whatever it winds up working with, that's what it wants to make perfect. But white-blue is much more focused on making everyone perfect, making everything perfect, making the perfect system. And this common desire kind of actually leads into the conflict between the two colors. The easiest way to look at it is that you have obviously white and blue. And we've talked a lot about both of these colors by this point in time. And you can pretty much guess that white's main thing, its driving factor, is society, while the blue's driving factor is the structure. One, of course, being people-based, and the other one being system-based. So, on the society side of things, the lawman, which is why it's called the lawman, or lawwoman, law person, the point of that is that the white aspect is focused on improving society through the law. It's enforcing these ideals. This is why you see things like hieromancy in magic. They're law-based magic. It's very white-blue. It's even more so in white than it is in white-blue, but you get the idea. The whole concept is we need to enforce these things to make other people's lives better. They're more on the ground. They're more able to see people. Then, of course, there's blue-white. Blue-white looks at it and says, okay, you know what? That is a nice system. That is a Rubik's Cube that I can solve and that I can improve on. I can add extra cubes to the cube to make a super cube. I'm going to name it Kevin. So basically what winds up happening is that blue-white gets more focused on the structure of things. Yeah, improving society is the goal, but when it really comes down to it, the whole idea is that it's just to see how perfect can you make it. How many times can you iterate on this particular system and make it more efficient. So the strength of both of these two colors together, obviously, is that they are very prepared. If you look at all the other colors, they all have some kind of short-sightedness between the other 3. Red is too emotional, green runs on instinct, black is willing to hurt itself, but white-blue, when it looks at things, it thinks of the super long term. It looks at the possible branching paths and takes all of them into account. And that's really the big thing about white-blue, is that it is focused and it is able to tell what is going to happen. It has a law for everything. It has a rule on how to deal with every event. Now, one important thing that I learned from interacting with white-blue individuals, dating white-blue individuals, and running away from white-blue individuals that were trying to kill me, is that they have a breaking point. While there is an extremely cold persona, while there is a great deal of specific, like, I'm going to not let myself get in the way of my work kind of mentality, white-blue is not so much emotionless as it is suppressing those emotions. It sees them as dangerous things for the system itself. And it is very, very, very possible that if you push the limits of the system that the Azorius has built, they will break. And if they break, then they basically have only one rule, which is stop whatever's breaking it. It's kind of like a white blood cell attacking a virus. If it views you as the virus, it's going to suddenly just completely turn around and thrash you. That's why when it comes to white-blue characters and stories and such, you'll notice that they have a long period of basically being kind of, not necessarily innocuous, but being calm. And then they'll have their outburst. And when the outburst comes, some people might say, oh, they just turned red for that moment. But no, that's still white-blue. It's still white-blue to have that outburst, because it's a break in the system and it's more of a symptom than it is a change in personality. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the characters, of course. Everybody wants to know who the hero and who the villain of this particular color combination is going to be. And for me, this was a very hard decision. I had plenty of villains to choose from and not very many heroes. So if you have heroes that you think are white-blue that would do really well, then go ahead and just put those in the comments. But for the one I picked was a character named Jiren. Now, unless you watch Dragon Ball Super, the newest Dragon Ball series, then you won't know who Jiren is. He's basically, he looks like the gray alien, but he's super muscular and wears a red and black suit, and he's a hero. He's basically a superhero, like a Power Ranger kind of superhero, and from his own universe. In the series that he appears in Dragon Ball, he plays the role of an antagonist, sort of, but he's just doing something to protect his own planet. He's doing something to protect his own world. So he's still a hero. The point about this character is that he is literally constantly, the entire time there's a fight, sitting down and meditating. He just starts like floating because of how like massive his like chakra is. He's just sitting there. And there's plenty of like memes and jokes and stuff on the internet about how the majority of the time during the whole fight he was sitting there doing nothing. But the main reason is because he was basically trying to control his emotions. He had a lot of rage towards Goku, and he had a lot of like a pent-up rage. And you don't really find out about that until he's almost defeated and he kind of like snaps. Because this whole time it turns out that all of the people who considered him his friend, he did not consider them friends. He had specifically shut down all of his emotions so that he could focus on becoming the strongest fighter in the world. He was focused on becoming perfect. He was focused on his own perfection so that he would be able to protect everyone. He was focusing on perfecting himself to defend society. He's one of the most white-blue characters that I've ever seen because he fits all the different criteria for that kind of thing. He's not a very... He's relatively smart, but I mean, he's not a genius or anything, but he is the epitome of those particular values of perfection in relation to improving society. And of course, he does have his breaking point, and he thrashes Goku and all the other characters that are there, and a whole bunch of other stuff happens. So if you like Dragon Ball Super and haven't seen it yet, I'm not going to tell you how that fight actually ends, but it's really cool to see a white-blue character in this way. Okay, so the villain. Now, I'm going to talk about a villain from Harry Potter. A lot of people know what Harry Potter is. A lot of people have seen Harry Potter or read Harry Potter or played Harry Potter Lego. The point is that this villain is not one of Voldemort's cronies. Now, when I say that, it kind of narrows it down substantially to either being Johnny Depp with frosty hair or Dolores Umbridge. Obviously it's Dolores Umbridge. She's a great example of a white-blue villain. Primarily because she thinks what she's doing is right, and she's doing things specifically to enforce a set structure, a set rule set. She comes basically from the government as a bureaucrat to teach children how to defend themselves in the dark arts, and she does a terrible job of it. Not because she's not good at it, but it's because she's doing things by the book. She's literally giving them a book and tells them, read it, and then I'm going to give you a test on it. It has nothing to do with like personally connecting with the students or doing anything like that. And it obviously doesn't help the students at all, but she gets the quota done. She gets what she wants to do done. She's the kind of individual who's more focused on just enforcing these things as opposed to trying to change them, because that would be wrong. She thinks they're perfect the way they are. She thinks everything is great the way it is. And she even she's like, Voldemort doesn't exist. The guy's got no nose. How can he? He's not here. Don't worry about him. He's myth. He's fake. He's not here. And so she denies that, and obviously that leads to a whole bunch of other stuff happening. But when near the end of her, her arc in the story, she has her breaking point. She has her part where she's like, you know what? Forget you guys. And she has that moment where she gets in a fight with McGonagall. And so, as a character, she's focused on kind of just freezing things, which is another aspect of White Blue, where you just kind of stop the progress. Not so much because you think, not so much because you're trying to stop things from becoming better, but because you think things are already perfect. Which is a really, really interesting spot to be in. If she herself came to the conclusion that things should change, then she would have worked towards changing those things. But they were perfect the way they were to her. And that's why she is White Blue. Thank you guys for watching this particular episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. It was fun going over these particular colors and the White Blue combination, because it was one that I had kind of been looking forward to, kind of not looking forward to, because I don't connect well with this particular color. But I am working on the Gruel color combinations next, which I am very close to, and I have a lot of very, very different things to say about. So if you don't want to miss that, definitely subscribe to the channel, and in about a month or two from the release of this episode, you will see the red-green one appearing in your feed. It's going to be a good time, and I hope that you guys will join me for it. Until then, travel well.